Research always shows that the number one thing that people learn through these kinds of experiences is how good my life is. Well, I hope you do. I mean, that should be a given, but I hope you do learn that. But it shouldn't end there. These people, we go to places and people open their lives. They invite us into their homes. I don't know if any of us would do that very easily. You know the things that you were part of. I think of some of the trips I've been part of, and I'm thinking, boy, that's amazing that they let us in like that. And so, part of the way that we honor the people that we meet is by living what they taught us and allowing them and their lives and their reality and the way they live and their values, allowing that to have some impact on us. So hopefully it's more than just, I have a great life, which I do hope that you all see that and have come back in some way. What do you do with that sense of gratitude? What do I do with the fact that I've seen another reality and I know people don't live like this? What do I do with it? And that's unique for each one. And so what our next exercise, our next reflection is looking at what have I learned from these experiences that I've had.
This section will help each participant to come more deeply in touch with what they have been taught by their experience in mission. What were the life lessons I learned? What values did I witness in the culture or the people that touched me and caused me pause? This part of the reflection is vital for each participant to articulate for integration, according to the organization from mission to mission. It is remaining faithful to who I have become.
So at one of my workshops, we have this, I do this exercise sometime with having people create an image using clay that represents what they want to hold on to or carry forward from their experience. Some of those things that the lessons and the values that you shared earlier this morning. And so oftentimes we get something about hearts and hands and some amazing images. But this woman created these 3 intersecting circles. And she said, may who I was before I went there, who I was there, and who I am now, and who I'm going to be. This is what she said. May they all be connected. Integration is wholeness. That means everything we do in our lives, hopefully, is helping us understand who we are and what we're about, and can influence the person I'm going to be, and the things I'm going to be involved in, and the things that I spend my time and energy and make commitments to, that our life experiences influence that. We're constantly growing and changing and becoming. And so that's why we say our goal is to remain faithful to who we have become, is to not just realize, I think this differently, but to live that I think differently. Not just to have a different perspective, but what do I do with my different perspective? And so I want to just plant some seeds about some of this. So let me give you an example. It's kind of a harsh example, but in many ways it says what I'm trying to say. I think, first of all, go back to the beginning of our day was that song that says that God calls us and we're never the same. God doesn't just call us because God thinks that's going to be a great thing for us to do. I mean, something's supposed to come out of that, I believe, for them and for us. And so our responsibility is us, right? So I know a woman, a sister, who did my workshop. She came back and she worked in the diocese where she lived. She was the director of Hispanic ministry. And she told me one day, there's a parish in her diocese that has, it's probably like one of your parishes. They have a sister parish in this other country and all kinds of people. It's like, it's a diocesan mission is what it is, I think. And so many people from different parishes have gone to this place. And it's kind of, I'd heard about it from other people and met people who've gone there. And so I asked her, I said, well, what do they do when they come back? Because I'm thinking, maybe they can use some of these resources. Maybe I could help them. And, excuse me, she was a little snarky when she answered me, but she said, well, they obviously don't do anything, or they would be treating the people I work with better. Because some of the countries where they had visited, some of those people were living in their community. And she knows what they're going through and how people accept or do not accept them. And so her comment was, if they were doing what we're supposed to do, they'd be reaching out to them, not just when we're in their community and they let us come into their community, but when they're in our communities here on our turf, how is it? And I'm like, that's a pretty powerful statement. So it's how are we allowing these experiences to inform us, to help us understand how to live every day, how to treat the people that we meet? Are we taking the very lessons and everything that came from this experience? How am I applying it in my life and in my life, my community, my family, the things that I do? Now, trust me, this is not a popular topic to talk to people about. This is tough. This is where the rubber hits the road. If we're really about what we're about, and we've had the privilege of having these experiences, what are we doing with it? And I appreciate very much that it's obvious that how many people stay linked to that place where you've been. That's obvious in this room, that you've developed great ongoing relationships and commitment. But I also believe that God is calling us to be more than that, not more than just focus on that place, but how is that opening us up to all of humanity, starting in our own communities and then going beyond and beyond and beyond. And I think that that's what God is calling us to do. The organization that I went overseas with, it was a lay organization, started by a lay woman, and so all of us were lay people who served there. And most of us served 2 or 3 years. But part of the philosophy of the organization was that we learned how to live mission in our own communities. We had to go there. I mean, obviously the focus of our there was the people we were serving. But part of it was to learn how to live mission and to bring back that and live that in our own communities. Integration is not something that you ever get there. We're works in progress, So some of the things I'm going to say, I'm not expecting that you do all of this, but these are things to think about and be moving towards that. Some of these things we're going to talk about, when you have a different perspective or seeing the things, let the things you witnessed touch how you live your life, some of the stuff can be very countercultural. Think about some of the things some of you mentioned when you said what you appreciated about that culture. If you said, I want to live that way, some of those very things have been become countercultural in the United States. You were talking about being present to people or being with other people and the way we are with people. These things have really messed up a lot of being present to people, But I think the whole thing is talk about countercultural. Jesus. Jesus made people feel uncomfortable. I don't think our goal is to make people feel uncomfortable, but some of the choices we make, some of the ways we live, some of our values that become part of us because of these experiences might make some people feel uncomfortable. But I think that that's what it's all about. I remember when I came back from Zimbabwe, I was gone altogether about 3 years, and I came back and I was with friends, and we were probably eating pizza because I did that for about 3 straight months when I went back to the Chicago area. And we were laughing and having a great time. And my friend's husband out of nowhere says, well, we've worked hard for what we have. I'm like, I think we were just talking about the White Sox or something like that. And all of a sudden he's like, we work hard for it. Sometimes when we live our values and our beliefs, it might make people feel uncomfortable. It might challenge them in how they, I wasn't making a point of, I didn't say anything about the way they were living, but my choices and the way I had lived obviously was challenging him. But I do believe that is God. I think about, God not only, desires this for us by calling us, God needs us to live this. We are the hands and feet of Christ in our world today. God needs us to live our values. And our values are shaped by these experiences.